Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how you can use the Erizos control plugins for Unreal to control aspects of your level in real time. Before we get into setting up our scene for external control and into all the details, I just want to quickly show you what we will achieve by the end of this video. So I'm going to bring up Erizos Studio, which I'll explain to what Erizos Studio is in a minute. And here we can see that we can change our text, and it updates our Unreal scene, and we can change the position of the shelf in our scene. So that's a quick example of what we're going to be achieving in this video. So let's go ahead and start with the text. So inside my level here, I have a 3D text actor, and I'm just going to select it. And to expose this text to the API, all I need to do is in the Add Component menu, search for Control, and here you can see all the control plugins that Erizos provides. Each one is for controlling a different aspect of your level. So if we wanted to change the texture of a mesh, we would use the control texture. But in this example, we want to change the text, so I'll select the control text. Once I've selected that and added it to my mesh, there are a few different options that you can set. For example, you can force uppercase, have a maximum number of characters, but I'm just going to leave everything as its default for this example. So now that I've added the control text plugin, I'll just save and hit play. So like I said earlier, there are two methods that we can use to control our Unreal scene. So we can either use Erizos Studio, which is our user-friendly control interface, control application, or we can use the REST API, which is good for developers who want to use some custom solution to update the content or data inside their level. So let's start with Erizos Studio. I'm just going to bring it up. And currently it's empty, so I need to import my level into Studio. So I'll just go to the Import menu, find where I saved my level. So here it is, and just double click it to add it to Studio. So now that I've added it to Studio, we can see the exposed text component. And watch as I start typing inside Studio, you'll see inside our Unreal level will update. So let's start typing. So as I start typing inside Studio, you can see that the content of our Unreal level updates in real time. Okay. So let's show you an example of controlling the same text element using our API. So I'm going to bring up Postman, which is a API simulator, and I'm going to do a GET request on the API. And this will bring us the payload of our current level. So you can see here we have one text element that's exposed with the current content, which is the dynamic text example. I'm going to copy the payload and I'm going to do a post request on the same API. Let's set our content. I'll be sending JSON content, and I'm going to change the text back to our website address. And watch as I click send, watch the Unreal level updates in real time. Okay, so that's an example of using Postman or Erizos Studio to update our level, or update the text inside our Unreal level. Updating text is very useful, especially in the broadcast industry, but for virtual productions or for film, it would be handy to be able to move around objects inside our level in real time. So that's the next example I'm going to show. We have this shelf over here, and I want to be able to move it up or down or change its position via the API. So I'm going to escape the play mode, and I'm going to select the mesh. And just like we did before, in the Add Component menu, I'm going to search for Control. And this time I'm going to use the Control Actor. Once I add the control actor, you'll see that it has exposes a lot of the transformation properties for our mesh. So I want to be able to control the Z position because I want to move the shelf up or down vertically. So I'm going to expose the Z position. So let's just have a look what our maximum values are. So the maximum value here is, let's say 460 is the maximum, and the minimum we can say is 50, for example. So now that I know the maximum and minimum values, I'll go back to the control plugin, set the minimum to 50, and I'll set the maximum to 460. Okay, I can now save and go back into play mode. And now I'm going to show you again how we can control the position of the shelf, either using Erizos Studio or directly via the API. So let's bring back up Erizos Studio. Currently we only have the text exposed here, so I'm going to re-import my level. And now we have the shelf control as well as the text. So in the shelf control, we have the transformation properties, and in the Z position, if we set this to, for example, 300, you'll see the shelf moves up to 300. And let's move this back to, say, 100. You see the shelf moves down. And if I set in a value that's not allowed because we set the minimum and maximum, so if we try and set 500, the shelf won't move past the maximum value of 460 that we configured inside the plugin. Same with the, so let's show you the same control via the REST API now. So I'm going to bring back up Postman. I'm going to do another GET request. And you can now see that we receive the position properties as well. So I'm going to copy the position payload, and I'm going back to my post request, and I'll replace the text payload with our position JSON. And now I can set the values over here. So let's set a small value, say for example 30, and you'll see as I click send, the shelf moves down. Let's set another value, say 300. Shelf moves up, and if I do an illegal value, for example minus 50, you see that the shelf stops at the minimum value that we set. Okay, so that was an example of how we can control text and objects inside Unreal using the Erizos control plugins in real time. Thanks for watching. If you want to see, if you have any questions about the two plugins that we demonstrated, please feel free to drop a comment in the video below. We'll be posting more examples of the different control plugins in the near future. Again, thanks for watching.